Hello children, welcome back to Grade Booster. Today we're going to discuss about the lesson Nationalism in India. So this is the most important topic in history of class 10. So here in this particular lesson, we are going to discuss about modern nationalism. So in the previous classes, you have learnt about nationalism and leaders, national leaders, freedom fighters. So those who belongs to that, the period of 1900, before that. Here in this particular chapter, we are going to see the freedom struggle that happened after 1920. So what are the different movements and who are the key leaders in this movement and how these movements, they increased the momentum of freedom fight. All those details we are going to learn in this particular chapter, that is nationalism in India. So the modern nationalism in Europe and India, it involved a shift in identity. So what is that identity? People in India, they are living in different communities, different castes and different religions like Hindus, Muslims. So they are living in different parts, different units. But this modern nationalism, it brought the idea of togetherness, because in this particular period, people started joining together despite of their community boundaries, caste boundaries, different castes, different religions. So people started coming together for a common cause, that is to get the freedom from the British rule. So that is what happened here. So how this happened, what helped here in this process? New symbols, new songs and new ideas, it united the people. People started framing some symbols for the nation. The idea of nation has come. Bharat Mata, right? So some songs, national song, Vande Mataram, like that. So the national identity is brought by symbols and by songs and by new ideas. People started to have a common nation, got the idea of a common nation for different people. So in India, nationalism grew through the anti-colonial struggle. All the people in India, they want the freedom from the British rule, from the colonial rule. So everybody is against the British. Okay. So this opposition towards the British, it brought all the people together towards the idea of nationalism. So, but different people have different ideas about the freedom. For some communities, for some peasants or farmers, getting relief from the tax is their freedom. For some businessmen, the custom duties, if they are relieved from the custom duties that are imposed by the British, that is freedom for them. So every group, factory workers, so because of this British rule and all these conditions, they are not able to get proper wages. So their idea is that if we get freedom, we get better wages, better facilities. So like that, different groups of people, they have different ideas about that freedom. Freedom means different meaning for each group. But they all have one common goal, that is freedom for the nation. Okay. So the First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation. We are going to discuss about these three items here. First, let us see the First World War. So First World War, what happened in India? The scenario in India. The first one is forced recruitment, natural disasters. They made that living of people more difficult. Their lives became more miserable because of the forced recruitment. What is that forced recruitment is for? Recruiting the people into that war. So people are, World War I is going on, so more soldiers are required and forced recruitment was done. Even children, small age people are also pulled into that war. So from the villagers got angry for this forced recruitment. Okay. So villages were forced to send soldiers. It created anger. So that is about the war. That is the condition of the war. So World War I, the main problem is forced recruitment. So there are many other problems faced by the people. The prices increased, the taxes increased. Like that, because of World War I, there were so many problems to the people. People are thinking that once this war is finished, we will be relieved from all the problems. Our lives will be set and happy. But that was not happened. So the World War I, it went from 1913, 1914 to 1918. So during this period, they were suffering with all this problem like forced recruitment, more taxes, inflation, prices rised, all the goods, so all these problems. But it did not end there. After the First World War, after that, in the period of 1918 and 2021, so the next 2 consecutive years, crop failures. So what happens? The production of the food grain decreases, famine. So there is no food, okay? There is a loss of money, food shortage occurred. So it did not end there. The second problem is crop failure. First one is forced recruitment for the World War I. And third one is influenza epidemic. It killed 12 to 13 million people. 12 to 13 million people, right? So influenza. So that time people were not immune to that simple influenza. Now we are immune. Recently we got COVID. We were not immune to COVID. Now we are becoming immune to COVID even. So like that, it was a big breakout epidemic and millions of people killed. So see all these 3 events. One is forced recruitment, that is the World War I is the problem. And second problem is that crop failures. And third problem is that influenza outbreak. So people expected relief after the war, but it did not, right? People expected relief after the war. Okay, if war is done, completed, then we'll be free, happy. It did not happen because of these things. That is crop failure and influenza epidemic. Okay. So in the midst of growing discontent, there is a lot of discontent in the people. What is this? Why it's happening like that? When will our lives settle down? When we will get relief from all these problems? At that particular time, a new leader with a new mode of struggle, with a new strategy, a new leader has come. So, from the 1920s, the Congress, who is the new leader here? None other than Mahatma Gandhi. So the new leader with new strategy has come. So from 1920, the Congress under the leadership of Gandhiji. So Gandhiji, what he did? His main effort is to unify different groups of people. Unification of different groups of people through movements like non-cooperation and civil disobedience. One is non-cooperation, 2 is civil disobedience. These are the 2 important movements of the freedom struggle that we are going to discuss in this particular lesson. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience. These are the main movements that were organized by Mahatma Gandhi. And so these 2 movements we are going to study. What happened in these movements and what are the results, why these movements failed, what our leaders learned from these movements, and how they succeeded to get the freedom after these movements, what strategies they followed. So here, these movements aim to include diverse social groups and inspire a collective nationalist imagination. The main purpose of these movements is to bring all the people together. That is the main aim of Gandhiji, to bring all the communities, all the castes, all people together as one nation, fight for the nation together. It's a common fight, to make it as a common fight and a big fight. That is Gandhiji's aim. So people are fighting different groups. So different groups means small groups, different fights. Their aims are different, goals are different, but they are fighting against the British. But Gandhiji's idea is that their goal is one. They are all fighting against the British. If we all together fight, then we can win the fight. That is the idea of Mahatma Gandhi. So Gandhiji returned to India in January 1915. Actually, he came back from South Africa. Gandhiji came from South Africa, that is in 1915 in January. And after successfully fighting racial injustice in South Africa, he fought against the racial injustice and he started their non-violent mass agitation called Satyagraha. Non-violent mass agitation. Mass means so many people gather there, but there is no violence, no pelting of stones, no looting or picketing of shops like that. Just a peaceful agitation, that is Satyagraha. So that was the tool discovered by Gandhiji, introduced by Gandhiji to get the freedom, Satyagraha. Okay. So first it was practiced in South Africa, not in India. So Satyagraha, it was based on the truth and non-violence. Truth and non-violence. So whatever we would like to convey to our oppressor, to opponent, to whom with we are fighting, we convey our idea in a very peaceful way. That is the Satyagraha. Okay? That is through moral appeal rather than force. Not to use force. Moral appeal. So Gandhiji believed that this method could unite all Indians. By this Satyagraha method, he felt that we can bring all Indians together towards injustice. So after arriving in India, Gandhiji, he launched his first Satyagraha in 1917. So here three Satyagrahas we are seeing. In 1917, one in Champaran, Bihar, that is against the oppressive plantation system to help the peasants, that is Champaran, Bihar. Again in the same year 1917, Kheda, Gujarat, again second Satyagraha in the same year 1917. Kheda, Gujarat. So this is also for the peasants who are suffering from crop failures and plague disease, plague and crop failures. So they are demanding relief from the taxes. So to support that peasants, Gandhiji conducted that, organized the second Satyagraha. Second one is Kheda, Gujarat. First one is Champaran, Bihar. Champaran, Bihar. Where is the third one? Third one is Ahmedabad, Gujarat. To support cotton mill workers. Third one is about cotton mill. First one is plantation workers. Second one is peasants. And third one is cotton mill workers. Right, children? So these three things are very important. And please remember, the first Satyagraha, Champaran, Bihar. Second one is Kheda, Gujarat. And third one is that Ahmedabad, Gujarat, that is for the cotton mill workers. Here you can see in the map, Champaran is here, Kheda is here, Ahmedabad. These two are in Gujarat, Kheda and Ahmedabad. Champaran is in Bihar. Next. So after that, 1919, we have seen 1917 and 18, Gandhiji conducted three Satyagrahas. In 1990, Gandhiji launched a nationwide Satyagraha against the Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act. So nationwide Satyagraha this is. So what is this Rowlatt Act? It is a brutal act. Okay. So it is not justful act. There is a lot of injustice, partiality, bias in that act which favored the Britishers against to the Indian freedom fighters. That is, so according to this law, it allowed the political prisoners to be detained for 2 years. Any political prisoners, that means anybody, any political leader fighting for the country can be taken by the police and kept in jail for 2 years without any trial, without taking to the court and for the arguments and other thing. So they can directly put in the jail for 2 years. So that is Rowlatt Act. So Gandhiji, he started a nationwide satyagraha against Rowlatt Act. So a hartal was held on 6th April 1919. Hartal 1919 with strikes and protests across cities. Hartal means just like nowadays we are seeing Bandh, closing all the shops, all the offices. The same way Hartal was held on 6th April 1919. Remember this date, 6th April 1919. So the British reacted with severe repression. So they did this Hartal. British reacted with severe repression. That means giving beatings to the people, public, whoever on the roads, beating them so harsh, hitting them, throwing them in the jails, arresting the leaders, banning Gandhiji to enter Delhi. So this is reaction from the British. On 10th April 1919, police fired a peaceful procession in Amritsar, leading to widespread unrest. So police, they fired a peaceful procession. Some people are doing this, okay, agitation, this hartal, they were shot. Police opened the fire on these people on 10th April 1919. So General Dyer's crawling orders being administered by British soldiers, Amritsar, Punjab. See, you can see a person crawling. So now what happened next? On 13th April 1919, so you can see 6th April 1919, a hartal is going on strike, and Jallianwala Bagh, it's happening in April 13, 1919. So it was a very sad incident that happened during our freedom struggle, Jallianwala Bagh. So Jallianwala Bagh, it's a ground where the people gathered, some of the leaders they gathered, that is to protest against the British, right? Along with that, some villagers, those who don't know about this, okay, protest and other things, for Baisakhi fair, they entered the ground. So all these people, they gathered in this ground. It is not having other exits to run away. So when all these people are cornered to one side of the ground and there is no way to escape, at that time, General Dyer, he ordered to open fire, which was a very brutal act. So it killed hundreds of unarmed civilians. They don't have any arms. They don't have any exit even. They cannot jump and run off from that place. So in such a situation, he killed the people. So this brutal act, it aimed to create terror among Indians. So his idea is to terrify the Indians not to protest more. But it didn't happen, right? But it was a brutal act. So as the protests spread, British used extreme violence and public humiliation. So these national leaders are doing their job, doing the protest, but Britishers are using lot of violence. And the people, those who are participating in the struggle, they are taking the non-violent method, but British is using violence and public humiliation to suppress the movement. So, fearing the growing violence, so Gandhiji could not see that much amount of violence is done on the public. People are suffering, and so he called off Rowlatt Satyagraha. So Gandhiji called off that because there is a lot of violent reaction from British. So that is the reason he called it off. Next. So though the movement had spread widely, it remained urban. Gandhiji now felt that need for a broad-based national movement. So the previous movement, it worked well. It spread to all the people, but mostly urban. That means only to the cities and towns. Now Gandhiji felt that broad-based national movement and believed that Hindu-Muslim unity was essential. So Gandhiji wanted to unite all the people even from the villages. And even he wanted to join Hindu and Muslim together. He felt like it should be very broad. Everybody must be inclusive of the next movement, next step, whatever they do. So Gandhiji's idea is that if the people, the groups that are participating all together fight, there is more chances of winning the fight. That is his idea. So in March 1919, the Khilafat committee was formed and by the Calcutta Congress in September 1920. Gandhiji convinced leaders to start non-cooperation movement to support both Khilafat and Swaraj. So, by September 1920, by this time, Gandhiji convinced all the leaders. That means earlier there was different opinions in Indian National Congress. So, about this joint fight. So, what is this joint fight? So, what is this Khilafat committee? What is this Khilafat issue? So, there was an issue for the Muslim community. After the World War I, the Muslim community, they had a issue with their spiritual leader, Sultan of Ottoman Empire. So, they considered that Sultan as Khalifa. That means head of their spiritual world, Muslim spiritual world. So, the Britishers, they got some rumors that Britishers are dismissing his powers, his authority. So, that means they are going to do something bad to their spiritual leader, spiritual head. So, for that reason, Muslims, Indian Muslims, they started a movement, an agitation against the British. That is why they have started the agitation, because the British are going to take some kind of actions against that their spiritual leader, world spiritual, Muslim spiritual leader, Khalifa. So, that is Khilafat. That is the Khilafat issue. So, for this Khilafat issue, Gandhiji wanted to take it as an advantage. Gandhiji saw that it is an opportunity. Okay, Muslim community, they wanted to fight against the British. Here in Hindu community and other people, they are also fighting against the British for Swaraj. Muslim community, they wanted to show their opposition to the British because of their decisions towards their Ottoman Empire. So their goal is different. Our goal is different. But our common enemy is British. For the Muslim community, the enemy is British. For Hindu community and other people, the enemy is British. But our goals are different, Swaraj and Khilafat. So Gandhiji, he plotted an idea that joining both groups and fight against the British, then there will be more impact on the British. That was Gandhiji's idea. But there are some discussions. People didn't agree for that earlier. But finally here what happened is that by September 1920, Gandhiji convinced leaders to start a non-cooperation movement to support both the Khilafat issue of the Muslims and Swaraj of the Hindus and other people. Right? So Khilafat, Swaraj. Khilafat is against British, Swaraj is against British. So Gandhiji clubbed both these struggles together for both the issues, Khilafat and Swaraj. So, in his book, Hind Swaraj, Gandhiji, he wrote that book in 1909. He stated that he observed one big reason why the Britishers are able to rule India. The main reason he found was cooperation of Indians. So, we Indians, many of the Indians are fighting against the British for the freedom, but many Indians are cooperating. So, without our cooperation, they cannot live in our land. So, that is Gandhiji's idea. So, we have to give them non-cooperation. We should stop cooperating with them. So, once we start cooperating, once we stop the cooperation to the British, they cannot live here, they cannot rule us. That is Gandhiji's idea. So, with that idea, he started that non-cooperation movement. That means not giving cooperation to British. So he proposed this, and this non-cooperation movement has to be done in stages, like starting with the surrender of government titles. So government has given some awards. British government has given some awards to Indians. So those Indians should give back their titles. I don't want this award to this British government. So give them back. Boycott of civil services, So whatever the government services are there, the government people, army, police, courts, schools, councils, and foreign goods, all these are to be banned. So if the British responded with repression, then a full civil disobedience movement would follow. So the non-cooperation movement, and if it is repressed by the British, then they should take the civil disobedience. Okay, full scale civil disobedience. So this is the plan of Gandhiji. Right, children? So next we see towards civil disobedience. So in February 1922, Gandhiji called off the non-cooperation movement. So why Gandhiji called off this non-cooperation movement? What are the reasons? So he felt that satyagrahis need proper training, because there was no proper training, he felt. So these satyagrahis, they were doing all kind of violent acts. But Gandhiji's idea is that, so it is a non-violent method of protest. So Gandhiji thought that they need to be given proper training before participating in the next fight, next struggles. Within the Congress leaders, they have different opinions. So they were debating on different issues. They were having different opinions. So some of the Congress leaders, they wanted to participate in the council elections, to be a part of the British Council. And some of those leaders, they were against the participation of council elections. So see here, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, these two people, they wanted to return to that council politics. Who are they? C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. So that is under the Government of India Act 1919. Whereas the other people, young leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru, so they don't want to participate in the council elections. So they want more fighting, more mass struggle, more movements like this non-cooperation movement for the process of independence. So in the Congress itself, within the Congress, the leaders were having different opinions about participating in the council elections or boycotting the council elections and fighting for the independence, doing the freedom fight. So that was happening. So however, Gandhiji called off this non-cooperation movement in 1922. So from 1926, so it was called off in 1922. So after some period, that is from 1926, what happened is that global economic depression. What is that? Global economic depression. Because of this global means it's around the world. There is economic depression, that is increasing of prices. So that is economic depression. And there is no price for the agricultural produce they produce. The farmers, they produce some kind of product, some textiles, okay, some cotton or some grains or whatsoever. So there is no price for this product in the market, outer market. So what happens? It becomes very difficult for the peasants to sell their crop, but they have to pay the revenue. So they'll take the land for lease. They have to pay the revenue. They have to pay the taxes. Everything they have to pay. But there is no price for their produce, for their crop. So that was the situation. So by 1930, so it is happening from 1926. By 1930, there is a great unrest. So people are not happy. Peasants are not happy because of this global economic depression, because of these revenues. They were unable to pay the revenues. They were unable to pay the taxes and lease for the landlords and everything that was happening. So to settle this unrest, in response to the nationalist pressure, so the nationalists, they kept the pressure on the British government. The British government has sent one commission called as Simon Commission. But our people did not accept that Simon Commission. They did not. Our people did protest against the Simon Commission with the slogans like, Simon, go back. Why? Because there were no Indian members in that Simon Commission. Simon Commission is completely of British members to take the decision. So the nationalist leaders and other Indians, they didn't accept the Simon Commission. So the Go Back Simon, they gave the slogan. Even the Muslim League opposition, even the Muslims, not only Hindus, even the Muslims also opposed this Simon Commission. In October 1929, Viceroy Lord Irwin, he promised dominion status to India. He promised that, okay, we will give dominion status to your country. What is this dominion status? That means India will become a nation, but still it will be under the control of British, right? So the British Queen will be the head of this nation. So even though we have our own nation, we should be under the final control of the British, under the control of the England. We should follow the orders. So that is dominion status. But people did not accept. People asked for that Purna Swaraj. So Purna Swaraj, Jawaharlal Nehru's leadership at the Lahore Congress, they demanded for the Purna Swaraj, complete. Purna Swaraj means complete independence, not this dominion status. Who? Jawaharlal Nehru. In Jawaharlal Nehru's leadership, a Congress session happened in Lahore, December 1929, demanded for Purna Swaraj. So they made a declaration that, okay, we are announcing our independence. So they announced that 26th January 1930 was declared Independence Day. They announced it. They wanted to do the celebrations and all. But actually British did not give the freedom, but they declared 26th January 1930. Who declared? These people, Jawaharlal Nehru. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, so these people, the Congress people, they have declared that Purna Swaraj, and they announced the complete independence on 1930, 26th January. But the response was poor. So it failed to gain the mass attention. But even then Gandhiji, he took this idea, yes, we should take this to each and every individual, Purna Swaraj, complete independence, yes. And Gandhiji thought that this complete independence idea should be linked up with something which is related to everyone, each and every individual, not industrialists or not workers or not small peasants or not big landlords. For everybody it should be connected like that. So Gandhiji is plotting for that plan. So now on 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin listing 11 demands. He has sent a letter with 11 demands. So he collected all the demands from the different groups of people, different social groups. So what is your demand? What is your demand? All these 11 demands were sent to Irwin. Among these, most important, abolition of salt tax. So there was tax on salt. Salt is a thing which is connected to each and every person. Everyday life we use salt. It is connected to the housewives. It is connected to the poor people, rich people, everybody. So Gandhiji wanted to make a thing which is connected to everyone with the freedom struggle. That is abolition of salt tax. We do not pay the tax for salt. Okay. So Gandhiji, he did the salt march. Gandhiji launched the salt march from Sabarmati to Dandi, a 240-mile journey by walk, Sabarmati to Dandi, 240 miles in 24 days. And finally on 6th April 1930, Gandhiji broke the salt law. He reached Dandi and he cooked the salt with seawater and he broke the salt law. So we are making the salt. Without paying any tax, we get the salt. So that was done. So it was called a salt march or Dandi march, very important event in the freedom struggle. So with this salt march, Gandhiji started the next movement, that is civil disobedience movement. So that was the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Breaking salt law is beginning of civil disobedience movement. Now, so unlike the non-cooperation movement, which was happened in 1921-22, this movement, it involved more number of people, more groups of people, and they did all these things like they broke the salt law. It included the actions like boycotting foreign cloth, refusing taxes, resigning from the government posts, and violating forest laws by tribals. Everything is included in this. So all people started the protest against the British by all these means. So boycotting foreign cloth, refusing taxes, resigning from government post and violating forest laws. At the same time, the government, the British government also responded with mass arrests. So violent repression, right? Violent repression was done by the British. In April 1930, the arrest of Abdul Ghaffar Khan. So here we have Abdul Ghaffar Khan and Mahatma Gandhi. Arrest of Abdul Ghaffar Khan led to protests in Peshawar, and arrest of Mahatma Gandhi, violence in Sholapur took place. So the widespread protest, violent clashes, including the attacks on symbols of British authority in Sholapur took place. So these things happened after this. Once they started this civil disobedience movement. Next. Now facing this situation, Gandhiji signed a pact which is called as Gandhi-Irvin Pact on 5th March 1931. Gandhi-Irvin Pact. So agreeing to attend the second round table conference at London. Gandhiji agreed to attend the second round table conference. So Gandhiji thought that, okay, the Britishers are going to do something. They are going to announce some freedom or some kind of thing. With that anticipation, Gandhiji went to that round table conference, but he came back with disappointment. Nothing was done over there. So Gandhiji returned with disappointment. The conference failed. Anyway, the government agreed to release the political prisoners. So Gandhiji disappointed and he came back in December 1931. So on returning, he found intense repression resumed with leaders. So after coming back from the round table conference, slowly the government is taking serious action against all the freedom fighters, arresting all the politicians. So leaders are jailed, Congress is banned, Gandhiji. So all these things happened. British banned the Congress party. All the leaders are taken to the jails. Now Gandhiji relaunched that civil disobedience movement. So he has given a break here with Gandhi-Irvin Pact and Round Table Conference. That was going on with a great momentum. But some violent incidents took place and arrests of leaders took place. Abdul Ghaffar Khan and Mahatma Gandhi. So later, Gandhiji went to a pact, went to the round table conference, it failed. So after that break, short break, again he started this civil disobedience movement, but it lost its momentum. People lost some interest, or they have their own reasons not to participate again in the civil disobedience movement. Right. So the civil disobedience movement gradually lost momentum and came to an end by 1934. It ended there, civil disobedience movement. Why it lost its momentum? Why people lost their interest or hope on that civil disobedience movement? Why the people moved away from the civil disobedience movement? What happened? So there are so many groups of people. Women are there, peasants are there, industrialists are there, workers are there, all these people. Why they could not stay back in that movement till they get the freedom? Let us see. Let us see what happened with each group of people. Now let us see rich peasants like Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh. So now we are just seeing the rich peasants. The first group we are studying here is the rich peasants. What happened to the rich peasants? So rich peasants like the Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh. So they joined the civil disobedience movement because they were badly affected by trade depression. So they were having the problem of trade depression. That means there was no price for their produce. So whatever the crops they produced. So to get a good price and all for the betterment, they joined the movement. And the reasons are trade depression, falling prices and government's high revenue demands, British government is demanding high revenue, high taxes from these rich peasants. So for them, the Swaraj means heavy relief from heavy taxation. What is the meaning of Swaraj for the rich peasants? Okay, we will get relief from the heavy taxes. Our taxes will be reduced, so by that we get more profits. That is the idea of Swaraj for the rich peasants. But initially they joined the movement. But once Gandhiji went to round table conference and the table conference failed, so these rich peasants, they felt they get cheated. So they took the wrong step of supporting this movement. Okay. So the movement was called off in 1931 without any revision in revenue rates. So in 1931 movement was called off, but nothing was happened to them. They could not get any benefit out of that participation of that civil disobedience movement. So they dropped their idea of participation in the civil disobedience movement when it started again in 1932. Second time they did not participate, rich peasants, because they expected some relief from the revenue or taxes, but it wasn't happened. So even though when the civil disobedience movement started again by Gandhiji, they didn't join that. So in the next group we see poor peasants. Second one, poor peasants. First one, rich peasants. Especially the small tenants were interested in remission of rent. Remission of rent, that means they have to pay a lot of rent to the landlords. They thought like if we join the movement, we get the Swaraj, okay, we will get relief from that remission of rent. We need not pay the rent. That was their idea. But they joined the radical movements often led by socialists and communists. So those people, they joined that radical movements done by the socialist and communist, not with the Congress party. Because Congress party never promised that no rent process. Congress party never assured that you need not pay the rent to landlords. Because Congress party want even the landlord support. So everybody support. So it cannot take one side of poor peasants like. But whereas the socialist and communist, they were promising. Socialists and communists were telling to these poor peasants, you need not pay the tax. You need not pay the rent. So you can get the land onto your name. The land gets distributed to you like that. So that was the promise and offers given by the socialists and communists. So they were more attracted to the socialist and communist movements, poor peasants. So however, Congress hesitation to support no rent campaigns, their relationship with Congress remained weak and uncertain. Only a few people are linked up with the Congress activities and Congress movement. Poor peasants, they were not very much deep in connection with Congress. They went with socialists and communists because those people, socialists and communists, they offered that your rents will be waived off. So that was the thing. So the next group of people, what happened? You see the business class. Third one, business class. So business class, they supported the movement initially. Initially, they supported the movement, civil disobedience movement. They have given the funds also. So because they thought that, okay, for foreign imports, whatever they are importing, customs duties are very high. So these businessmen, they felt that, okay, if we get our independence, our own nation, we get relief from the custom duties will be less, so by that we get more profits. And organizations like FICCI, founded in 1927, supported Congress and industrialists. And people like G.D. Birla and Purushottama Das, Thakur Das, they offered financial aid. They gave money to the Congress people also. Not only giving their support, financially they have given money. They supported the Congress for civil disobedience movement. But after the failure of Round Table Conference, once the Round Table Conference failed, they understood the situation that independence is not going to come. So they feared, like if they go for the civil disobedience movement, if they still support that movement, there is a chance of militancy and socialism. So militancy means there is a kind of a violence acts, and socialism. So the landlords and the industrialists, they felt, the business class, they felt that, okay, their wealth may be taken by the nation, by the governments. So likewise, they felt something wrong about this, and slowly they moved away from the civil disobedience movement after the first round table, failure of the round table conference. So next, industrial workers. Industrial workers. How about this class? Industrial workers did not participate in large number except in some areas like in Nagpur, Chota Nagpur, in these areas. Workers occasionally joined the rallies and boycotted foreign goods. But Congress avoided including workers because Congress felt that if we take only the if we include the workers into that, we may lose the owners, industrialists. So Congress want industrialists because they'll give the funds. Okay, so the party is funded by these industrialists. So Congress could not include that workers. Okay, fearing it might alienate industrialists, because if Congress includes workers, workers will bring their demands which are not have. Okay, so these owners and business class people may not be happy with the demands of the workers. So that is the case with industrial workers. Right, children. The next group, women. So women participated in large number in the civil disobedience movement. They participated in the Salt March. They were very active in doing the picketing of shops, and they manufactured this salt, and they joined the protests coming mostly from high caste urban families and rich rural households. Even the high class women belongs to higher families, both from rural and urban areas. They came out and they participated in this protests. They joined the protest. They joined the civil disobedience movement. So their role increased. While their role increased, their participation increased, but Congress did not give them positions of power since they are women. So Congress and even Gandhi's view of women remained traditional. That means they felt that the women are the caretakers and supporters of the movement, not the main theme leaders, not the main leaders of the movement, supporters and caretakers of this movement that they felt. So that is about the women. Let us see the next, Dalits. So how about these Dalits? We are talking about the different groups. So how different groups participated in the civil disobedience movement, and why certain groups were away from the movement. They removed from the movement. Why the movement has lost its momentum and slowly why it halted. So here let us look at the Dalits, untouchables, who began calling themselves Dalits or oppressed people. So in 1930, they called themselves as Dalits or oppressed in 1930, were largely ignored by Congress. They were ignored by Congress initially. So why they were ignored? Because Congress feared that if we go to these Dalits, take the support of these Dalits, if we invite the Dalits into that, then it may upset these Sanatani or orthodox Hindu groups. So Gandhiji advocated. However, Gandhiji worked for these Dalits. Gandhiji called these people as Harijan. That means people of God or children of God. So leading to satyagrahas, Gandhiji also did satyagrahas for Dalits, for the temple entry of Dalits, allowing the Dalits into the temples, and for this untouchability and social inclusion, to include them into the society, and against the untouchability. So opposing untouchability as a barrier of Swaraj. So Gandhiji said that this untouchability is a barrier of Swaraj. With this untouchability, we cannot get this Swaraj, right? However, many Dalit leaders, including Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, preferred political solutions for the upliftment of Dalits. Dalit leader, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so he was fighting for the Dalits and their rights. So he was looking for political solutions. So not some kind of support or temple entry or not this kind of favors. So we want some power like that. So he demanded reserved seats and separate electorates. Separate electorates. These areas give to Dalits to participate in the election. Separate electorate. Right? So Ambedkar founded the Depressed Classes Association in 1930 and demanded separate electorates at the second round table conference. But Gandhiji opposed it. Gandhiji opposed separate electorates. So separate electorates means that separate particular areas will be given for them to participate in election and ruling. So Gandhiji opposed this, fearing it would divide the society, and he began a fast unto death. So next, so this issue, what is that issue? Demand of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. What he demanded? Separate electorates for Dalits. But Gandhiji and Congress people, they resolved this issue with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar by Pune Pact of September 1932. So Ambedkar agreed to joint electorates, not separate electorates. So all community people, everybody will be in the joint electorates, but they will have some reserved seats. So now we know that we have reserved seats even now. So in elections, there are some seats reserved for some classes, for some communities. So for Dalits in legislative councils, despite the fact that Dalit movement remained wary of the Congress national movement. So Gandhiji promised that, but even then the Congress-led movement and the Dalit movements are little different. Okay, took a separate tracks. Now let us look at the Muslim political response, the next group. After Dalits, we see Muslim political response to the civil disobedience movement. Earlier in the non-cooperation movements, Muslims were actively participating. They participated because that was the Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. So it was a joint movement. So where the benefits are there for both the communities, Muslims and Hindus. But later what happened here, there is decline of the non-cooperation Khilafat movement. So after the decline of this movement, many Muslims felt alienated. That means they felt we are separate. Why they felt like that? Because Congress is joining with the Hindu nationalist groups like Hindu Mahasabha. Congress is joining more Hindu groups like Hindu Mahasabha from the mid-90s, 1920s. So Muslims felt that, okay, Congress is more with the Hindu people, Hindu groups and Hindu parties like Hindu Mahasabha, right? So the Hindu groups are more into that Congress. So they felt alienated. They felt we are separated. So they didn't actively participate in that civil disobedience movement. So 1927, an attempt was made for a Congress Muslim League alliance. Again, Congress attempted to join the Muslims. So where in that Jinnah, Muslim leader, proposed dropping the demand for separate electorates. He left the demand. He left the demand of separate electorates. Okay. So Muslim leader told that, okay, we don't want separate electorates, but we will take the reserved representation. We'll take the reserved representation. So we also have some reservation, some seats reserved for us. So that was the demand, but it was opposed by Mr. Jayakar from Hindu Mahasabha. Hindu Mahasabha. So when he opposed at the All Parties Conference in 1928. So because of this opposition, it broke the negotiations. So it broke the negotiations, and the Hindu-Muslim tensions and communal riots increased, and Muslims feared they lose their cultural identity and leading to low Muslim participation in the civil disobedience movement. So these are the reasons why very little Muslim participation was done in civil disobedience movement. Right, children? So we have seen all the different groups: Muslims, women, workers, Dalits, rich peasants, poor peasants, business class people, all these people. So everyone, they have got their own reason to walk away from this civil disobedience movement. Now, let us see the sense of collective being. What is this sense of collective being? The nationalistic feeling, how it developed during this period, 1930 to 1935, whatsoever period. So how the nationalism developed? So the nationalism in India, it spread when people from different regions, languages, communities developed a collective sense of belonging. Yes, we all belong to this nation. We all belong to this place. So it happened because of cultural expressions like history, folklore, literature, songs, symbols, and popular images. Right? So folklore, folk stories, and history, literature, songs, symbols. With all these, we felt, okay, this is our culture. These are our, okay, ancient, okay, culture and ancient stories and songs, national symbols, national flag. So like this, they came for one particular identity. They got one particular identity. So they have given an identity for that nation with all these things, that song or picture or images or okay, history, symbols, all this. So the image of Bharat Mata became a powerful symbol of national identity. So Bharat Mata, they have given a figure to the nation. Our nation is represented in the form of a Mata, mother, Bharat Mata, right? So it became the national identity. It was first conceptualized by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1817 through his hymn Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Later included in his novel Anandamat. He included that in Anandamat. So who was the one? Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in the year 1870. So, inspired by the Swadeshi movement, Abhindranath Tagore painted Bharat Mata. Abhindranath Tagore painted Bharat Mata. He was inspired by the Swadeshi movement. So, here Bharat Mata by Abhindranath Tagore, 1905. You can see Bharat Mata. So, more of a spiritual figure with four hands holding different things in hand. So, the reinterpretation of Indian history became another tool of nationalism. Reinterpretation of Indian history. So, recollecting who are our okay, ancient people, how great they were, great kings of India. So, great knowledge of India, ancient knowledge of India, right? So, ancient culture of India, ancient tradition of India. So, glorifying the science, culture, and governance, ancient governance, how it was, the culture, how it was. Glorifying this, countering the British. British felt that, okay, we are advanced, we are civilized, we have so many weapons and all this. And they're making the Indians inferior. Britishers, they make themselves superior. So they are the lords, they are the controllers, they have all the technology, they have all the science and all. But Indians also glorifying the ancient science, culture, governance to counter the British. So making the people to feel that we are not low, we are not less, we are also, okay, we used to have a very good past, we used to have very good, okay, science, culture, everything, history we used to have. So bringing that to all the people, the Hindu-centric past. However, this is mostly related to Hindu people because the culture, the past of this land is mostly Hindu. So because of that, some non-Hindu communities got alienated. Some non-Hindu communities, because Hindu people, they were glorifying their past. The Hindu kings and okay, their kingdoms and their ancient stories or okay, ancient literature. So that was all Hindu. So it led to the alienation of non-Hindu communities, revealing the limitation of such nationalist symbols. Okay, mostly Hindus are more connected to this kind of symbols and figures. The nationalists in the late 19th century started reviving Indian folklore to rediscover cultural pride and identity. Indian folklore, Indian folk stories and folk songs and all, figures like Rabindranath Tagore in Bengal and Natesha Sastri in Madras collected folk tales, songs and myths, believing they revealed that authentic spirit of Indian people. So these are all this is all Indian stuff. So we are all one nation. We are all Indians. This is our stuff, our culture, our stories, our songs. So like that, these people, they collected from the people. Who are they? Rabindranath Tagore in Bengal, Natesha Sastri in Madras. They collected the folk tales, songs and myths, believing they revealed that Okay, authentic spirit of Indian. Symbols such as national flags also helped the unify. People started designing national flags. So holding the national flag in hand, yes, this is our nation. This flag represents our nation. Yes, what is that? Earlier it was made in tricolor, red, green, yellow, red, green, yellow, with 8 lotuses and a crescent, 8 lotuses and a crescent. But later, it was changed to red, green and white colors and a spinning wheel symbolizing self-reliance by Gandhiji. So Gandhiji designed the Swaraj flag. So in the first half of the 20th century, that is in the first half of the 20th century, widespread anger. So earlier in the beginning, in the 20th century, against the British, violent fight was done. Various social groups, common national struggle for freedom. Later, under Mahatma Gandhi, after the entry of Mahatma Gandhi, in Mahatma Gandhi's leadership, the mode of fight changed from violent fight to some peaceful, more organized agitations. Okay, so more organized agitations under the leadership. Indian National Congress tried to channelize public grievances into organized mass movements aiming to build national unity. So to get the national unity, Congress channelized it and grouped, organized this non-cooperation movement or civil disobedience movement, everything in a proper way without violence or other things. So, however, since different groups had different expectations, freedom meant different things to different people. The Congress worked to balance the conflicting demands. Different people were demanding different things. Poor peasants, we don't want taxes, that is our freedom. Business class people, we don't want custom duties, that is our freedom. So Hindus want something, Muslim communities want something. So likewise, every community, Dalits, they want something. Like every community, every group, they have their different expectations from the freedom. Right? So finally, Congress, what it did, it balanced that conflicting demands and to prevent the divisions within the movement. The Congress, what role it played, like it wanted to join all the groups, Hindus, Muslims, Dalits, workers, so industrialists, whoever are there, everybody to include in the movement, because they know that only when everybody is united and fight together, only then we can win or get the freedom. So as a result of phases of strong unity were often followed by the periods of internal conflict, but still there are some conflict, right? So reflecting the emergence of a nation with many voices, all seeking freedom in their own ways. Even though there is unity, even then there are some internal debates. Some leaders use it to go for one kind of decision. Some leaders of Congress used to go for another kind of decisions. There were so many internal debates and compromises, negotiations. So with that, the Congress party played a role in uniting all the people and taking them all together against the British. So that's all about this lesson, nationalism in India. And if you like this video, please give it a like and please subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon to get all the notifications and please share this video with your friends. So we'll meet again with another interesting video very soon. Till then, bye. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Please share this video with your friends. Please subscribe to Great Booster channel. Press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Check the description to find links of other useful videos. Check the end screens for our new videos.